Well, it's good to see everybody. First, want to lead with a- the passing of Dr. George Maurerman, and I know he's a dear friend to many in this community and nationally, and just wanted to say and wish condolences to his family and everybody that came to meet him. Uh, what a life that he lived. Got a couple stories. Of course, I was here as a graduate assistant, and whether I was a GA or a head coach, he always treated me like family, and he was a big part of ours. But, I clearly remember a particular assistant coach taking too big of a bite of a steak back in 2000, 2001, and Doc got up, gave him the Heimlich. That steak went flying in the restaurant, and he saved that guy's life. And then from stitching a guy at practice yesterday, not yesterday, but last year. So what a servant, what a man, what a wonderful life, and certainly somebody that I'll remember always. So I wanted to make that point first. Second, we're very excited. We've started practice. We started full-time practice, and with this brand new team, and we've got a group of young men that are unproven but yet hungry. We've got a lot of youth and excitement, and we're just excited about continuing to push forward on that journey together. So today is practice number 5. We've got 30 opportunities to get better before our first game against Central Arkansas here on November 6th.
Hi. So let's talk about that non-conference schedule. You finally got it all finalized. Talk about a lot of them being at home this year and how big that is for you guys and getting some opponents here.
It is big. And which one's Raven? You're Raven. Okay, good to meet you. We're excited about the home games. We're excited about being in the Reynolds Center. Last year we played 5 home games in the non-conference. This year 9. And certainly by design. We wanted to get off to a start at home. Got a lot of new faces, a lot of younger players that haven't experienced this before. And so we wanted to do that without some travel early. We are doing a scrimmage away from home in October that'll give us that experience of going on the road. But we look at our schedule with a number of teams that'll be picked towards the top of their league. And then we've got some games away from playing Oklahoma State over in Oklahoma City at Paycom, playing a team in Loyola Chicago here that will return to their place, and then Missouri State, a longtime regional rival, old Missouri Valley type game. So we're excited about what was put together. It took a long time. We're waiting on a contract here for the last few weeks. And then also scheduling has been pushed back longer than ever before. People are just trying to figure out who's on whose roster. So we're happy to be able to get that done.
Coach, you said it off the top about a new team, and it's quite literally a new team. I was scrolling through the roster and only saw a handful of people I recognize. So is that – talk about the challenges that presents of having really an entire new locker room, but then also maybe – I guess I'm sure there is some excitement with some of the unknowns that you might have.
Yeah, there's tons of excitement, and our practices are open. We give people a roster so they can get to know these guys as soon as possible. But there is great excitement, and there's from having Josiah McWright and Ari Seals back from last year, Kobe Williams and Keaston Willis we've coached before, so there's a lot of similarities and familiarity there. So you have 4 guys that have been through it before with us as a staff, and then a number of faces that they're younger in their career. So there is a lot of unknown, and it's certainly one thing to practice, and it's another thing to play under the lights in front of somebody else. And so we've got a lot of growing to do, but we're excited to do it with this group.
I don't know. I know roster turnover is more now than ever, especially with the portal, but I would imagine that this is probably the one time you would like to see this much roster turnover. I don't know how much you will utilize the portal in years to come, but I would imagine you want to get a group of guys in and have them for a time and then kind of plug and play as you need to. Is that a fair assessment?
Well, TJ, if you look at what we recruited this spring, we signed the 2 graduate transfers in Kobe Williams and Keaston that we're very familiar with. So we're leaning on them from a leadership standpoint of that attitude, commitment in class that we believe so strongly in. And then after that, we recruited a number of guys that have 2, 3, and even 4 years of eligibility. 3 high school players, even some redshirt freshmen out of the transfer portal. So our view is really to obviously compete as high as we can this year to keep growing, but yet have continuity going forward. I still believe that that's the way to do it in college. I know it's maybe not as prominent as it has been in the past, but it's the way we want to grow and build going forward.
You mentioned the unknowns of the team, so how crucial has it been to get these guys in for summer workouts, and especially these training practices ahead of regular season?
Really important, Dan, and the summer it's so different than ever before because you have a lot of new faces. We had 8 weeks. We have 4 hours on the basketball court, 4 hours in the weight room, but then we're able to organize some different things for guys to get to know each other. We were able to really cluster them even in apartments where they're in close proximity to try to just them spend as much time as they can. That's a big part of it. We want a brotherhood in that locker room, and that takes some time. But we also, I feel, recruited some guys that are just that way, whether the programs that they came from or the way they are as people, really outgoing, social, communicate, all those types of things. And we like what we're seeing so far.
At what point do you think you'd be able to confidently say, this is going to be our identity, this is the team we're going to be this season?
Well, that's something that we're growing, but it's something that we're reinforcing every day, that we want to have a grittiness about us. We want to play with a nastiness out on the floor. We want to be a team that plays with great pace offensively, but we want to be really stingy on the defensive end. So we're trying to build a mindset here of play off our defense, make the defense the most important, get stops, and then really have a thrust, as we call it, an attacking mentality going up the floor, and then sharing it and getting the best shot.
Now last season, of course, you didn't have the results that you wanted, and as we mentioned, almost none of the players are back from that. And you just turned the page on that season. Is it a lost season, or is there still stuff from that season that can be some building blocks going forward?
I think there's every opportunity to grow from everything. I know I have, and I know that was unlike any season I've ever experienced before. But I'm going to take all the things that I can learn from those moments, from those weeks, from those days, and get better as a coach. That's what this is all about. But it's not something that we reference. It's not something we talk about. It's all about moving forward and getting better.
What do you think are some of those things that you did learn?
That I did learn?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Is this an hour-long show? I think there's so many different aspects of Xing and O'ing and all those types of stuff, but really it's about how do you best formulate and move forward on different aspects and different things that you can control, and just it reiterated things more than ever before, really, the things I believe in.
Coach, you touched on this earlier, just a bit ago, but are you sensing with all of these guys and the intensity of the practices, which have been intense, that that they are buying in? What is the buy-in on defense that you've seen from your team?
Yeah, I think it's been very, very strong, and I think if you see our group, just in the numbers would indicate we're a bigger, longer, we're more athletic. I think we'll have some more opportunity to be versatile and switchable. And so we're seeing some things that we like. Now, all the nuance we talk about, one of the things we can control is our effort. The thing that we've got to keep that standard at a high level always, but it's the execution piece that we've got to get better at. And that comes with experience, that comes from putting guys in situations that create adversity, from broken floors to advantage situations. But I think there's absolutely buy-in. The guys know that it's important. We've got a number of guys that have been a part of other programs where defense was important too, and both from our own and then also, for example, like a guy like Isaiah Barnes that was at Michigan for 2 years. He's a guy we're counting on to be very, very flexible defensively, and you can tell he's been taught it. He knows what it's about, and we're seeing it on the floor.
You have a lot of size on your roster. How are you going to use those big guys this season and kind of working where these guys fit in the 4 and 5 spots, and kind of what are you going to do with that?
Yeah, it's different. We've got a number of combinations that we're looking at from, guys that are kind of 4s, they're kind of 5s. Guys like Jared Garcia and Matt Reed, they could be your biggest guy on the floor, but they also play together along with Mo Keita. So we're just a lot bigger than what we were, and it gives us some possibilities to play even a real big lineup at the 3, 4, and 5. So we're looking at a number of those options. We want to be able to protect the paint much better than we did last year, and we think that size can help us. But then also we want to score better in the box in a number of different areas, and we think those guys have that capability.
Any thoughts on the new teams in the conference? I know we asked about it last year whenever the announcement came out, but now that you're, I guess, a couple months away from starting the conference slate, any thoughts on who you've added and not necessarily who you lost, but the teams that are coming in?
Well, all 6 teams from Conference USA I'm very familiar with, competed against all of them before. But you look at the type of seasons that they had from, of course, FAU going to the Final Four, and they bring really everybody back other than Michael Forrest, who was a key player for them but came off the bench. They go to the Final Four. North Texas had some changes. They have a new coach in Ross Hodge, but he was there as a part of their program as an assistant, as an associate head coach for a number of years. But their program is one that goes and wins the NIT. UAB has got a lot of new faces, but really talented. They go to the NIT championship last year. And then Charlotte won the CBI and had one of their highest win totals. So you could look and say, hey, we've lost some really good teams, and we have. But the overall number going from 11 to 14 teams, we're actually deeper. And we've got some teams with some success and some experience under their belt, and it's going to make for a very, very challenging conference play.
Just wondering, when you have this many new guys, Coach, how much of your early work is install? How much is it getting to know each other? Or can you really do those things effectively at the same time logistically?
Yeah, so Rick, in the summer, in the times that we spent, we were different than we've been in my career. We spent a lot of time getting to know our guys, getting to know each other. We had them play a lot, some structured play that we could evaluate and see what guys did best, and just build as much connection as possible and play. And that's not just 5-on-5, but 4-on-4 and 3-on-3 and big groups and small groups, but just using that time to evaluate. Didn't install a ton of things in the summer. Some, functionally, we just wanted to be, hey, this is what we're going to be about. We're going to play really, really hard, set an expectation of the tempo of practice in workouts. And then now it's really every day we're throwing stuff at them. Install, review, and then do it over again the next day, and then play it live, and then just constant video study, play diagrams, things like that. It's a lot for our guys right now, but we want to get that whole, go back to the parts, and then go back to the whole again as we progress.
You have just under 5 weeks now until that opener against Central Arkansas. It's a short amount of time considering, sorry, I can't talk, considering last week was kind of your first week really getting into the groove of things. How are you going to really use these next few weeks before that game that's a pretty tough opponent?
Yeah, no, they're a very good opponent, and they've got some pieces back. They added some. I think every team is going to pose challenges. We're just going to keep with trying to make the first things first, and the biggest things the biggest. And that's some of our base defensive coverages, our offensive sets that we're looking to use. And then we've got opportunities to just keep progressing in our conditioning, in our connection. We've got a scrimmage against an SEC opponent where we'll get tested in a big way on October 22nd, and then we'll have an exhibition game here at home to go through our game day routines and play under the lights in front of fans, and take a look at a lot of different combinations on November 1st. So we're just trying to take it one step at a time, one day at a time, and just try to find some measurable growth and be a little bit better than we were the day before.
Anything else, Coach? Thank you all.
Thank you, everybody. It's great to see everybody.